And now the Nigerian equities market is sustaining some positive sentiments recorded so far this week following bargain hunting in FBNH and Transcorp. Muktar Mohammed, analyst at Assar Investments, joins me now for more market movements. Muktar, thank you so much for joining us on the show today. Is it too early to say we are seeing a rebound here in the equities market, reflecting the gradual recovery we've seen so far this week, sustaining the positive sentiment?
Well, it depends on where you are and which stock you are talking about the reverse. Of course, you could say there's a reversal, especially when the stocks you just mentioned during your introduction, like MTN Nigeria and also FBN Holding and some of the banking stocks also seems to have a little bit of recovery today. And Transcorp is still the toast of investors after the delisting of, the removal of the Transcorp power to stand on its own in the power sector. And you know that from report, every Transcorp shareholder also will have a tip of the Transcorp holdings, Transcorp power holdings. So it's a total investor. So most investors are trying to key into that.
Yeah, and also now bringing into focus away from the listing of Transcorp Power on the Nigerian exchange as well. Now we also saw 7.5 billion shares also come with this listing. But now let's narrow our focus just a little bit, still with the banking names now. We've seen from the Bank of Ghana the suspension of FX trading licenses for that of GTB and FBNH. But FBNH says talks are underway to remediate these trade-related matters. How do you think these would affect these stocks, GTCO and then FBNH?
Well, it won't affect them much because again, their head office, their bank here in Nigeria, have come up with what I call an article yesterday saying that it was not really their fault. It has to do with the customer, and they are cooperating with the Central Bank of Ghana to resolve the issues, and all other transactions are still ongoing there. And again, it's a suspension, so it's not a removal. So I think that will not have so much issues there. And then you have to ask yourself, how much does the bank in Ghana, the GT in Ghana, brings to the bottom line of the larger subsidiary of them, say subsidiary in GTB? How much does it bring into GTCO here in Nigeria? So you need to look at that. Then you need to look at how much FX add to their bottom line in that place. And so when you look at all those numbers, they are more involved in trades. Their most sort of income has to do with more volume of trades that they do and other retail banking, not really in the FX side. So it's going to be very marginal. Like I said, it's just a suspension, and then you must know that again they have already released their. They've already approved their year-end results already, just waiting for the CBN to give them final approval. And then again, so if there's going to be any negative effect, that will be felt maybe in the Q1 result that will not be out until the first week of April. And maybe at that time they would have resolved whatever issues they have.
And talking about FX-related matters now, we've also seen some of the printing of numbers that have come through from the full-year earnings. Take, for example, MTN Nigeria and also the net FX losses that was reflected here. Going forward, how do you see these companies also adjust to these realities?
Yeah, David, the good thing about these companies is that if you look at their profitability was still very high. Like MTN, even NASCOM, even that NASCOM is even still paying dividend to its shareholders and even thinking of giving them scrip bonuses. So that shows that the fundamentals of these companies are still very strong. The same thing with Nestle, they will also look towards their institutional investors or come for a right issue because their shareholder funds have been wiped off. And again, when you look at the MTN Nigeria, also the profitability is still there, but they suffer a massive loss in 740 billion. And the exchange situation is not like it was when it is. I think there's a little bit of stability coming in, hovering around between 1,400, 1,500. And we believe that before the second quarter of this year, there could be relatively stability in the FX market, which could see FX exchange lower than what they are doing now. So I think that makes it a choice of investors, mostly, especially if you're investors that are thinking of long time, then MTN Nigeria, Nestle, NASCOM, and Nigerian Brewery, Guinness could just be one of those stocks that could add a lot of value to you in the long term, because when you look at, like I still say, when you look at those numbers, the profitability is still there. They made profit, but because of the FX challenge in terms of rate volatility, those profits will wipe off.
We're already drawing the curtains down to the performance of 2023, and now the next focus is on the Q1 numbers for the year 2024. A whole lot of eyeballs will be on that. Muktar, thank you so much for joining us on the show today. That was Muktar Mohammed, an analyst at Assar Investments.